Good morning. It's 10:01 a.m. This is the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency public hearing for the WF Industrial 13 project. It is 10:01 a.m. I am going to read the public hearing notice into the record. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing pursuant to Article 18A of the New York State General Municipal Law will be held by the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency, the agency, on the 24th day of October 2022 at 10 a.m. local time at the Town of Brookhaven Town Hall, 1 Independence Hill, Farmingville, New York, 11738, in connection with the following matters. WF Industrial 13 LLC, a limited liability company organized and existing under the laws of the state of New York on behalf of itself and/or the principals and/or equity investors of the WF 13 LLC and/or an entity formed or to be formed on behalf of any of the foregoing, collectively the company, has applied to the agency for assistance in connection with A, the acquisition of an approximately 9.89 acre parcel of land located at 645 National Boulevard, Medford, New York, 11763, Suffolk County Tax Map number 0200-812.00-03.00-005.009, 005.010, and 005.011, the land. B, the clearance of approximately 9.03 acres of the land and the construction thereupon of an approximately 129,237 square foot building, together with the acquisition, installation, and equipping of improvement structures and other related facilities attached to the land, the improvements, and the acquisition and installation therein of certain equipment and personal property, the equipment, and together with the land and the improvements, the facility, which facility will be leased by the agency to the company and subleased by the company to various tenants, the tenants, for use as an industrial warehouse and distribution space, the project. The facility will be initially owned, operated, and/or managed by the company. The agency contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in the form of exemptions from mortgage recording taxes in connection with the financing or any subsequent refinancing of the facility, exemptions from sales and use taxes, and abatement of real property taxes consistent with the policies of the agency. A representative of the agency will, at the above stated time and place, hear and accept written comments from all persons with views in favor of or opposed to either the proposed financial assistance to the company or the location or nature of the facility. Prior to the hearing, all persons will have the opportunity to review on the agency's website, brookhavenida.org, the application for financial assistance filed by the company with the agency and an analysis of the costs and benefits of the proposed facility. This is dated October 14th, 2022, Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency by Lisa M.G. Mulligan, titled Chief Executive Officer. I think we might have a guest, so I'm going to... Is there somebody who wanted to speak? Yes, that's it. Okay, they can come in. Okay. No, you can just send them in. Okay. Thanks, Tara.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm Tony Santana.
Hi, Tony. Lisa Mulligan.
Hey, Lisa,
Have a
how are
seat.
you? Sure.
Okay. Just gonna ask if it's still raining, but
Oh my God.
do you need a towel?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
But yeah, I brought the wrong umbrella.
Just so you know, we're live streaming.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay. Oh, you're here from South Country School District.
Yeah, my name is Tony Santana. I'm the superintendent of schools for the
Oh.
South Country School District.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
I'm
Good.
Typically, we limit it to 3 minutes, but we have some time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of comments. So, and also,
No,
as
I have
as
a
an
very
impacted-
short prepared statement to
Okay.
make on behalf of the school
If you
district.
would just state and spell your name and your affiliation just for the record. And then
Sure.
Go ahead.
My name is Antonio Santana, Antonio Santana. I am the superintendent of schools for the South Country Central School District.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, the South Country Central School District is aware of the proposed project, WF Industrial LLC, to be situated within the district's boundaries. In that regard, we request that the Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency consider the potential impact of the project upon the district and its taxpayers, and the needs of the school district in its consideration of the request for financial assistance for this for-profit entity. If any benefit to the district, its students, or taxpayers may be achieved through this project, we would request the IDA's assistance in obtaining such a benefit. The Board of Education would welcome the opportunity to discuss any such potential benefit that may accrue to the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I keep that?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll just give it to the stenographer. It just makes it so much easier.
That's it.
Okay, you're welcome to stay and see if anybody else makes comment or not.
Okay.
Totally
I'll
up to you.
return back to my office. I appreciate it.
Okay. I'm just gonna grab my card.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. I'm sorry it's such a. It is 10:20 a.m. There is no further participation. I'm going to leave this open for about 10 more minutes. I received a couple of emails to be included in the public hearing. I'm going to read them into the record. First one that I see says, it's from Julia Villacara. It says, to Ms. Mulligan and the IDA Board, as a taxpayer in the South Country School District, I ask the Brookhaven Industrial Development Association, IDA Board, reject the WF Industrial 13 LLC IDA application. Giving $2.86 million in financial assistance to WF Industrial for the promise of 40 full-time permanent jobs is absurd. You're proposing giving away $70,000 per full-time permanent warehouse job and incentives while our taxpayers and businesses are forced to make up the difference. The South Country School District is facing a looming financial crisis. The burden of that crisis will be put upon the residential taxpayer and our small businesses if the IDA carelessly continues to give away money to give money away with little to no benefit to the district. Setting that burden on our taxpayers endangers our school budget of passing. If the school budget doesn't pass, then who suffers? Who then suffers? The children of our district with program and educational cuts, not these corporations. No, our children and the future of Long Island does. The IDA board, while giving fantastic breaks to companies that can afford to pay their fair share of sales, mortgage recording, and property taxes within the South Country School District, will cause our district's children's futures to shrivel. There's no analysis showing how this warehouse will benefit the district. It only shows to bring great harm environmentally and financially. The warehouse's traffic will pollute the immediate area with diesel fuel from increased truck traffic. The saturation of warehouses moving into the town of Brookhaven is creating a future that looks grim financially. With the onslaught of warehouses at such a high rent, the analysis predicts they will sit abandoned in a few years' time, more corporate skeletons crumbling into over 9 acres of what is now wooded land. It will be a structural monument of the IDA board's recklessness. We've already seen too many millions leave our school district, our South Country School District and the Longwood District to benefit multi-million-dollar corporations who could afford to pay their fair share. The IDA and its excessive boondoggle giveaways to Winter Brothers Project have cost this district millions dollars. Enough is enough. Once again, these companies do not need these incentives. Our district's children and their futures do. Thank you, Julia Villacara, taxpayer, Brookhaven Hamlet. Okay, that's the same one. I think I received one more comment. Excuse me. Dear Supervisor Romaine, Brookhaven Town Council, and IDA CEO Mulligan, and IDA Board, we're asking the Brookhaven Industrial Development Association, IDA, to reject the property and sales tax application of WF Industrial XIII LLC for their proposed 130,000 square foot truck terminal and warehouse complex, impacting both the South Country and Longwood school districts. There is no IDA analysis which shows that this speculative warehouse project cannot afford to pay sales, mortgage recording, and property taxes within the South Country School District. Roughly 70% of property taxes fund our South Country public schools, and sales taxes make up roughly 40% of our county budget. The recent $80 million IDA tax exemption package granted to Winters NP for 2.5 million square feet of warehouse equates to almost $80,000 per permanent job. This figure is almost 25 times the tax incentive per job that New York State Controller cited as Brookhaven IDA's average net incentive per job. There's a reference to a website link. The Winters NP exemption costs South Country and Longwood districts, both majority, majority economically disadvantaged districts, over $20 million each in foregone taxes. When large, wealthy corporations do not pay their fair shares, existing residents and businesses are squeezed to make up the difference with property tax increases. The recent revocation of IDA tax breaks for warehouses in Syosset and Melville prove that these warehouses are economically feasible without IDA benefits, and there's a reference to a Newsday article. The WF Industrial XIII LLC IDA application threatens that without the $2.86 million in financial assistance of the IDA, the region would lose the 40 full-time permanent jobs which are promised. See screenshot below. In what world does it make sense to give tax incentives of over $70,000 per full-time permanent warehouse job? There's no analysis to support the developer's claim that without this tax break, they will move to a lower tax community. These are speculative warehouse jobs. They cannot move to Pennsylvania. It defeats the purpose of the industry. IDA members would never make business decisions like this in their personal businesses, yet they entertain such SW bogus claims at the expense of children and taxpayers within majority, majority economically disadvantaged school district. And there's a screenshot of 2 of the questions in the IDA application. Another nearby South Country School District proposed warehouse with the pending application at the IDA, AIREF was much more honest about the impact of IDA incentives. On Wednesday, September 14th, 2022, ARES VP Mr. Hiller candidly told the South Country community upset over AIREF's IDA application. It's like a statutory available IDA, quote, it's like a statutory available IDA application. We submitted the application. We looked at the rules of the IDA application. When we didn't make them up on our own. It's available to people to come here and develop, and we submitted to see where we can go with it. I'll be very honest, in the sake of we are not 100% sure that we want to pursue an IDA application here. We put it in to make sure we are looking at every possible opportunity to make this project feasible. And there's a link to YouTube. As AREF lobbyist Assemblyman Keith Brown tells the audience, the point is IDA incentives are statutory and they are available. As anybody would, they are looking into it. IDA tax exemptions are clearly not the difference. I'm sorry, that was the end quote. IDA tax exemptions are clearly not the difference between these projects happening or not happening. In fact, IDA's showering of unnecessary incentives has warehouse developers applying indiscriminately to the IDA for incentives because they can, not because these exemptions incentivize any economic development. According to Newsday, quote, warehouse vacancy rates on Long Island have plummeted from 11.4% in 2012 to 2.3% today. As a result, rents have soared in the period, going from $6.79 per square foot on average to $14.52, end quote. That's from another quote from a Newsday article. The IDA's own Camoin Commission study shows the Brookhaven warehouse industry will be facing double-digit vacancies due to a glut of warehouses, even if only 80% of the pipeline is built. IDA board members Grucci, Polakowski themselves clearly think this is an industry that does not require subsidies. There's a reference to a YouTube link. Hour 1, minute 32, second 30, IDA board member Gary Polakowski asks, where is the garbage going? Will we become a storage center for the region? Do we want to consider adding something to our process here that limits these projects? While at hour 1, minute 34, second 30, Mr. Grucci talks about creating jobs in the short term, but incentivizing a glut of warehouses causing unemployment in the long term. The Newsday headline says it all, quote, Long Island warehouses boom may turn into glut. And there's a reference to a Newsday article. Quote, we see real potential for overbuilding, said John Walker, an analyst for Camoin. He and Camoin Chief Operating Officer Rachel Selsky said the drawback of overbuilding include the closure of existing warehouses, job losses, and tax breaks awarded to projects that cannot find tenants. I'm not sure where the quote started and it ends there. It's also concerning that the developer's budget notes they are paying the IDA over $258,000 in application fees. Page 31, Brookhaven IDA. It was no wonder that on 9/27/22, CEO Mulligan was quick to direct the board to accept the existing 5 warehouse projects with which RA submitted an application to the IDA. Unfortunately, the IDA fee and employee incentive structure incentivizes the IDA to pay itself at the expense of local school districts. This is the definition of fiscal irresponsibility. It's important to note that this truck terminal warehouse complex is across the street from Habitat's preschool and childcare center. Is this where the IDA wants to incentivize yet another diesel truck serviced warehouse in an overburdened community? Speculative warehouses, distribution centers, and truck terminals are not industries in need of economic incentives in Long Island. The children and taxpayers of the South Country cannot afford to be giving millions of square feet of polluting truck terminals, warehouses, endless tax exemptions while asking district taxpayers to pick up the tab. Our district school children are the most important community economic engine, and their education is economic development. If these polluting, speculative, non-union industries come into our community, they should be meeting the most strict environmental planning requirements and paying full taxes. The Brookhaven IDA is reckless and fiscally irresponsible incentives at the expansion of the school district budgets must be reined in. The Brookhaven IDA board needs to stand up for local school districts and South Country taxpayers and say enough is enough. Best, Karim Odikhan, MD, MRP, MSc, Abina Asair, Brookhaven Hamlet. Those are the only comments that I have received. Hearing No others. I am closing this public hearing.